recording. So we have the recording. So and meanwhile, if it just posts itself and it goes live, it goes live. So welcome to, I call it Paulette Show. You know, the next Oprah come in, but just,
Yes.
you know, it would be so cool. So thank you so much, Wendy and Spring, for being on our Zoom. It's very exciting to have both of you here. Let me talk to you guys about these two ladies. You see this book? This is my note, actually calendar. And it says, you're a badass. Both of them are badasses in our industry, in financial services industry, both millennial, very excited to have both of them there. Let me just tell you about what's happening with the financial services and insurance industry. Insurance industry is having a surge of huge surge of women coming into the business, where you see magazines like this coming out and saying women empowering financial independence. And it's true, women are empowering each other to become financially independent. Because if you think about it, women retire with 2/3 of what men retire with. Why is that? Because most women are mommies. Mommies end up staying home, taking care of the kids, raising the family, making sure everything is done. But this day and age, especially with the uprise of millennials, we have millennials, they say, is a huge, what do you call it, generation. And when you think about millennials, millennials love reading. They want to make a difference. It's a big deal for them. They're a huge demographic. And also, millennials also have $1.5 trillion in student loan debt. So they start, average millennial has about $29,000 in student loan debt. So I wanted to bring Spring and Wendy on this Zoom with you so you could see how is it that at a young age, they're both six-figure earners and more in the company. They're both in business with their spouses. They're both very successful. Spring runs her office, her main headquarters out of Rancho Cucamonga in California. And then Wendy runs her headquarters out of Phoenix, Arizona. And so both of them are moms, have young children, and they were both very young when they got into were introduced to the financial services. And so Spring comes from a modeling background and also worked at the hospital as an executive admin. And then Wendy comes, and Spring was actually 25 years old when she was introduced to our industry. And then Wendy comes from service and restaurant background, and she was a college student, and she was only 18 years old when she was introduced also to financial industry through her mother. So, ladies, I want you to take a few minutes to introduce yourself to our audience. So, Spring, if you could, please take 2 minutes to introduce yourself so everyone knows who Spring is.
Sure. Hi, everyone. So excited to be here and talk about women empowerment. It's such an important thing for us to talk about. As she said, I come from a modeling background. I also do makeup and wardrobe styling. And then I found myself in the corporate world after I started my family. I have 3 kids. They're 11. Actually, she'll be 12 tomorrow. 7 and 5 years old. And I'm married to the most amazing man, and we built this business together. I think it's very important to, when you have your spouse, to make sure that you are equal parts when you are in a relationship. And that's not just in the relationship, but also as we are contributing to building our business. And so I'm so grateful that I have the opportunity not only to work with my family and help our community, but also be able to be a role model to my kids, because my oldest 2 are girls. And I think it's important for them to have a role model at home where they get a chance to see that you don't have to depend on a man for everything, that you can work hard and you can achieve things for your life as well. So I'm very excited to be here today.
Awesome. Thank you. Thank you. And also, Wendy, if you can take the time to introduce yourself to our audience.
Yes, I am so excited to be on the Paulette Show. And from the first day I met Paulette, I could totally see her with her own show. So this is just the beginnings. And when you're rich and famous and your face is on every single magazine in the country, Paulette, don't forget me, please. So my name is Wendy Campos. I'm out here in Phoenix, Arizona, born and raised in California. And I got introduced to the industry super young. And I'm very excited to be on here mainly because when I started in the industry, the financial industry, I mainly got started because I always wanted to make a lot of money. But the current situation that we're going in right now, it's amazing to see how much has changed in the last, years of me being in the business now. So many people are at home right now watching Netflix. So many ladies are at home right now in a position, in a financial position, in a health-wise and stuff like that, maybe not where they want to be. So I hope that somebody watching this video, that it touches somebody, that that we're on here. There's like a little message for you. So I'm just excited for that one person or those few people that are watching this, that this message is just for you.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. That is so true. So here are a few topics I wanted to talk to you guys about, because right now with this coronavirus taking place, right, and the mall is shut down, and majority of people that work at the mall, they're mainly millennial, but there are also Generation X that are the management. So a lot of people are now, if they're not in essential, they're in non-essential jobs, they're on furlough. And so, and our president said that until April 30th, we're going to have this shutdown continuing because of people's safety. Now, here's the whole thing. When I remember, if I were to stay home and just, you don't have to go anywhere. And when my kids were young, I would just wake up in the morning, wear my sweats, and just run after them, right? And so, and we're talking about 30 days of doing the same thing. And so how many days does it really take for people to create a habit? 21 days. 21. So if they're home for over 21 days, people become more like relaxed and complacent. So let me ask you a question, because you guys are experiencing same things. I know right now everyone's like Zooming, and our business hasn't stopped really. We're still working from home. All you need is your laptop and your voice, really. And why is it important for the ladies out there, Wendy, Spring, why is it important for you to wake up every morning, take care of yourself, fix your hair, dress up, put makeup on? I mean, what do you recommend? What do you think it's important for them to get up and do that?
Well,
Wendy,
I think, sorry. I think it's super important because, my grandma always used to tell me, she said, first thing she would always say is, you don't dress for the life that you have, you dress for the life that you want. And so that was something that I always took with me. So I realized, because I remember I was working as a server, so I would come in my little, server clothes and like go throughout the day like that. And she was like, no, like, this is not where you want to stay in life. Not that there's anything wrong with being a server, but she's like, you need to put yourself in a position where you don't look like you fit in that position, so that people can see you in a different place. So that was one thing. And then the other thing that she always told me was, when you look good, you feel good. When you feel good, you do good. And so I think that in a time right now where we do have more time, it's important for us to get up and feel good and do something with ourselves. Because I can't even tell you how many people are probably, they had all these things they wanted to do at home, but they just didn't have enough time, but they're still not doing them, because they're just laying around all day and the day is just slipping through their fingers. And that's not a way to come to have a life, when you could be taking this time to use your creativity. I believe that we are, created by God, and I believe that God is a creator. And so because we're made in his image, we are also creators. And it's important to figure out how to be creative, do something, create something. And I think that one of the lasting effects of this type of quarantine, I think people are going to realize that maybe they don't want to have to get up and go to a 9-to-5 job. So what's going to be the other end of that? Your entrepreneurship. So this is the perfect time to start figuring out, something that you can do, that you can make money from home, because we don't know how long we're going to be in this quarantine. We don't know. Yes, it was extended another 30 days, but 30 days ago, we thought we would be out today. So there's no telling that there may not be another 30 days to come after this. And it's important to start putting yourself in a position where you're doing something every day, so that you're able to create and you're able to make money and figure out a lifestyle in this new normal.
It's true. It's true. Thank you so much. Wendy, what's your feedback?
I totally agree with Spring, and I can relate with her because I was a waitress and I was in the food service industry for 3 years. And I remember showing up, and the first day I showed up to my waitressing job, I remember that I did my makeup so well. And at that time, I had a little tiny car. It wasn't even my car. My aunt let me borrow her car, and it was tiny. It was a neon, a Dodge Neon, and it had the roll down windows, no AC. And at that time, I didn't know about the setting powder for your makeup. And I remember I did my makeup so well. And by the time I got to work, I was already sweating, but my hair was done and everything. And just me getting ready made me know, okay, I'm going to go do something. And I think that I'm a big believer in the law of attraction, and what you think about, you bring about. And I believe that psychologically, when we're getting ready, if you know you're going on like that a special date, or if you're getting your pictures taken, or if you have a special appointment, in your mind while you're getting ready, you're saying, oh, I need to do this. It needs to be perfect because I have something important. Oh, I need to wear this. It needs to look perfect because I'm doing something important. And I think that while you're getting ready, you keep affirming to yourself, this is important. This is important. Something important is going to happen. Something important is going to happen. So what you think about, you're going to bring about. And so if you're thinking something important is going to happen, something important is going to happen. If you think something amazing is going to happen, something amazing is going to happen. But if you don't take that time to get ready, you don't have that affirmation to yourself. And psychologically, you're saying, I don't really need to get ready because nothing big is going to happen today. And if you're going into your day with that mindset, then nothing big is going to happen. Oh, I saw this meme. It was so funny. It said, okay, ladies, laid out my sweats for tomorrow. And it was funny, but at the same time, it was like, oh my gosh, like, I think that if we're not I think us getting ready in the mornings, letting us know something big is going to happen, something important is going to happen. And those blessings and those opportunities are going to keep coming if we do get ready. So yeah, and it's fun. I'll tell you, for me, getting ready for me is like my relaxing time. I love doing my hair. I love doing my makeup. And maybe it's because I was in the food service industry right now. And I think we can all agree that a new essential work should be the nail technicians, because they were shut down, and look at my nails right now. And when I was waitressing, I was not allowed to wear nails because it's against the food service guidelines. And ever since I stopped waitressing, it's been 7 years, I think, that I stopped waitressing. I've always had nails until now. But I think that even those little things make you know that you're ready to go for your date.
Yes, it's so true. It's so true. Thank you. Thank you. Because I know both of you, I just honestly, you inspire me. I'm a Generation X, and I used to wear makeup. I mean, I used to wear, and I thought, it was like, I just want, because my dad would always say, because my dad comes from makeup industry. And he'd always say, don't ruin your face with wearing a lot of makeup. So I bought into this, I'm a naturalist, like it's all natural. And so then I had some Iranian friends, and they would tell me, well, Paulette, you always want to have your makeup done, and you got to get up before your husband and make sure that your makeup is all on and done up. Yes. So that when he wakes up and he's like, wow, my wife is so beautiful. And I thought, are you kidding me? He's already got me. I don't have to do any of these things. But she's like, what? No, you have to, get with the program. Anyhow. So then when I started working with PHP, and I saw eyelashes, I'm like, what? Yeah. Okay. So the first time I put in, and then Stephanie, my BSC, would say, okay, you put it way too high, or you can see skin still. It has to be like, then I put it on my eyelash when I was trying to take it off, and I'm like, oh my gosh, it's stuck on my eyelash. Anyhow, but I figured it out because it's so much fun, ladies. And I know I have some like Gen X friends that are watching this, and they're like, oh, Paulette, you're way too much. Act your own age. What? Act my own age? I am acting my own age. I'm forever 21, so I'm gonna act my own age. Right. I love it. I feel good. And you know what? I see sometimes that, moms raising kids, and you take care of your daughter, you take care of your son, you take care of the house, you take care of everything, and you're the last one to be taken care of. Yeah. And then you're just pissy and moody and grouchy. Why? Only because you don't put yourself first. You got to put yourself first, just like these beautiful ladies that raising family. Their husbands adore them, you know, and their children are so well mannered, and I love it. So okay, so my next question for both of you, because you guys were so young that you were introduced to entrepreneurship, and it became attractive, and both of you are over six-figure earners with the company, very young age. I mean, when I'm thinking about young folks making over like multiple six figures, I'm thinking average millennial makes about what, 29,000, 35,000? Am I wrong?
Yeah.
Yes.
Right? That's how much they're making, right?
Yeah.
So what was attractive for you, Wendy, when you saw this opportunity and your mom said it, and you're like, you know what? I want to look into it. And then Wendy, once you're done, Spring, I want to also get your feedback too. Go ahead.
So I'll tell you, for me, I remember my mom introduced me to the business, and I was like, financial services, oh my gosh, bore me to death. Mom, I'm going to school for psychology, you know? And I remember when she told me she was getting started, I was like, nobody's gonna make money there. And I saw my mom's check, and I came from waitressing. At that time I was actually a receptionist, so I had gone from, when I was waitressing, I was at least making like $70 per day, which for me felt like a lot of money, and I was pretty much using that money to pay for my schooling. And then I switched to an hourly job, and that was the worst thing that I could have ever done, because my first job was waitressing. So from day one, you give up your first 5 days, and when you're waitressing, you work under pretty much another server. You give them all your tips for 5 days, and after that, you got to make your own tips. So ever since I was 17 years old, I've been working off tips. I've been working off my service, my smile, my jokes. And then from there, I went from, because it was a lot of, like, I felt like I wasn't advancing there. I was like, I need to go work in an office, because that's where we all think, we're going to grow. So I went to work at a car dealership, and I just felt like I wasn't growing. I was getting paid hourly. So what I would make maybe in a week and a half or whatever, I was making like in 2 weeks. I remember I looked at my first check, a 2 weeks pay. It was $260. And I was like, oh, what's going on? And then I got it up to like $400, but I was so without any money. So when I saw my mom make like $1,000 on a referral basis, and my mom, all she really speaks is Spanish. And I thought, okay, I'm bilingual. If my mom can do it, I'm pretty sure I can. So that's how I ended up getting started. And I remember seeing people make that kind of money. I mean, I remember the first time I saw Spring on stage. And if anybody knows Spring, she has the best outfits. And her husband are always matching. They have like, they're like Barbie and Ken. So I remember when I saw them, I was like, oh my gosh, if I could just be around people like this, I will be so happy. So I think for me, I just wanted to be around the people who were winning. And then eventually I got there kind of by default. And it's funny that you say that about the millennials, because I was looking, and to be in the top 5% of the millennials, all you need to make is $38,000 from the ages of 18 to 24, $38,000. If you make over $80,000 per year, you are in the top 1% of ages 18 to 20 to 25, pretty much. And it's crazy, because I'm like, more people should be making more money. We have more technology than ever. We can communicate with people so much faster. We're so good in the phones. Like, my daughter gets the phone and she knows about folders, and she can find YouTube even if I hide it from her. So I'm like, if our 3-year-olds can do it, I mean, there's really no reason we shouldn't. And I think that as millennials, maybe we don't have the examples, or maybe we've just been so conditioned since we going to school thinking we need to go to school, get a good grade, go to, get a good paying job. That entrepreneurship, I think it's very sexy right now. People want to be entrepreneurs. I think it's more out there, but I don't think as many people know how to actually take action. But it's been so amazing. I remember the first time I made 6 figures, I was like, oh my gosh, really? And then I thought, I need to make a lot more money, because a lot of people think that at 6 figures you're free. Like, I think the new minimum wage is $250,000. So yeah. Definitely that's the next goal.
I love it. I love it. How about you, Spring?
I had a different road to this industry. So for me, it was interesting, because I actually am a product of this industry. So I was previously married. My first husband unfortunately passed away in an accident. on his way home from work at just 26 years old. And so I went through a period of time. I only had $3,000 in the bank at the time of his passing. It was completely devastating. Had to move out of my house, sleep on an air mattress at my mom's house. I was pregnant at the time. It was just completely difficult. And I ended up getting a call from someone from this industry, and they let me know 3 months before he passed away that he got life insurance. And so that was a complete blessing for my family, because I really had no means to take care of my kids and start getting my feet under me until that call came. So that was my first inkling into this industry and seeing how powerful it is and how amazing it is for people to help people in these types of situations. And so later down the line, I ended up reconnecting with one of my childhood friends. We've known each other since we were 14 years old, and we ended up getting married later. All these things. This is my husband that I'm married to now. But before that, he was the first person that started this business. And when I came around, at first I was like, what is this? Like, what are you talking about? You're starting a business? Like, this is crazy. I've never really been involved in anything like that. But when I got a chance to see this industry for what it was, it reminded me like, man, somebody helped me and my family at the most crucial time in our lives. And what an amazing thing to be able to help people, and on the other side of that, I was thinking about the fact that, okay, yeah, I did only have $3,000 when my first husband passed away. I was even less than that, at that point. So I'm like, okay, what can I do to put ourselves in a position where I can start making money as well, and I can be independent, and I can take care of my kids. Because for me, it was about time and money, which is pretty much everybody's issue in America today, I'm pretty sure. Because like I said, I was a single mom at that point. I had 2 children. I was working myself to the bone, at the hospital. And I was hardly ever able to spend any time with them. And so that was an issue for me, because I felt like, yeah, I'm their only parent. Like, I need to be involved. I don't want to leave my newborn, my little baby, with the nanny all the time and all that stuff. So, once I got involved in this industry, it was more about creating more time for myself, and so that I could spend more time with my kids. And then once we started making good money here, it just really became a crusade for me to be able to help other millennials understand as well. And just people in general, especially in my own community. Minorities are so left behind when it comes to financial education and financial literacy. And so all of that kind of created a space for me to say, you know what, I really want to be an entrepreneur. I really want to help people. One of the first questions that my mentor asked me when we were first getting involved in the industry, he asked me, who makes more money? Who do you know that makes the most money in your life? Are they an employee or are they an entrepreneur? And that answer was entrepreneur. And so I said, okay, if I really want financial freedom for myself, for my family, then that's the direction we want to go in. And I'm so grateful that we have done that. So yeah, it's just a really unfortunate thing, because especially in the millennials, like Wendy was just saying, unfortunately, people just don't make a lot of money, and it's normal. But I also think that part of that issue is the fact that we've kind of grown up in this social media microwave society where it's like, I'm owed everything. I'm just supposed to have money just because, I should and I want it. I'm going to be a CEO of a t-shirt line, but I'm not going to work hard. That kind of thing. And so I'm really excited, like Wendy was saying, there's a lot of people here that can, that we've started to surround ourselves with, that have helped us understand quality work ethic and helped us understand what it really takes to be successful. And so it's just really important to surround yourself with people that are going to help you continue to grow your mindset and help you continue to push yourself to be the best version of yourself every day. So that's one of the things that kind of has pushed me into entrepreneurship, and one of the things that's kind of really kept me in here.
I love it. I love it. And both of you have young children that they are growing up in this entrepreneurship mindset environment. I can only imagine, like, I didn't grow up like that. I grew up like my dad said, life is tough and you just have to work. Yeah. And I would see him leave at like 7 a.m. and come back at 8. So I thought, okay. And in my mind, how T. Harv Eker says everybody has a money blueprint. My money blueprint said well, my dad works hard, so it doesn't matter. No matter how hard you work, you're not going to make it. Because I wasn't introduced to entrepreneurship. So my blueprint was saying, dude, even if you work hard, look at your dad, right? So I had to fix that, because how many people do we know? Like, I know, Wendy, you're from Bakersfield, and there's a huge Hispanic group that either work in the oil field, or they're working in the field, picking grapes. And that's where they're raising their kids. So their kids are learning work ethic, but they're just looking at their parents and they're like, you know what, you just have to work to survive, right? The same thing with you, Spring. I understand, like, you were a single mom, and as a single mom working so many hours, not even getting a chance to see your kids. But now, and both of you as entrepreneur, I remember when I went to Arizona and I saw little Grace walking around, Wendy's little, or even at conventions that we have, and Grace and Sean, my children, play with her, and my kids are being exposed to that. And then when we had our mastermind event that we went to Palm Springs, Spring had her children there and my kids, and then they were in the pool, and while we were having our mastermind session. So let me ask you a question. Where do you see your, like what do you think this environment of you reading books all the time, your car is like you're a university, and the kids sit in there and they're hearing the books just like you are, how is this going to affect your children, the environment that you're raising your kids?
I'll kick it off on that one. I think it's so funny because, I never growing up ever saw my parents go to work for a job. Ever since I was pretty much born, they've had their own businesses. And even though they ran their own businesses, we never really saw them so much. And I used to think, oh my gosh, I know we had a nice house and, everything like that growing up. But I remember seeing them work and I thought, oh my gosh, when you run a business, you have to work everything. That's the way I remember seeing that. That's what my money blueprint said. So when I thought business owner, I thought you work from 7 to 9 every day. And, and we didn't grow up bad or anything like that. But I remember I used to think that, and, Robert Kiyosaki has his cash flow quadrant where it's employee, self-employed, business owner, investor. And my whole time growing up, my parents were self-employed, but I always thought they were business owners. So when I thought about owning a business, I thought, oh my gosh, I'm going to have to do everything and I'm going to have to work so hard and I'm going to have to do this. And I think a lot of that has to do with what Spring said, that we are in a microwave society. And even me, I was like, oh my gosh, imagine having to work hard for 5 years to be able to get a business off the ground, which is what it takes. No business is, oh, hey, you open it up and then everybody's like, no, we're going to go buy whatever you're selling. No, like it's a marketplace and you got to figure out how to take it over. And I look at my dad, he's had his trucking company for 30 years. And my mom, she ran her patio furniture business for like 16 years. And I grew up right there in the shop with them. And I remember my mom would let us paint her little statues. We would be able to paint them. And she said, if you sell them, you get the commission. So whenever people would come in the store, we would be like, are you sure you don't want to buy this angel with the purple hair and the green eyes? You know what I mean? So we would really try to sell our ones. So I think I was introduced to sales very early, even though I didn't know it. And my daughter, the other day, we were here at the office. She's actually right outside of the store right here. And she's 3 and she told me, she only speaks Spanish. So she told me Spanish, so it was even cuter. But she was like, I'm going to start a business. And I told her, okay, well, what's your idea? Tell it to me. She's like, I'm going to sell tables. And I was like, okay, for what? For parties. And I'm going to sell icing for cakes. And I'm going to sell balloons. And I'm going to sell toys for the parties. And I was like, okay, where's your store going to be? Here in Arizona. I was like, okay. And she was like, and I'm going to make money and I'm going to go to Disneyland. I was like, okay. And I thought, our kids are growing up so, like, it's such a normality where sales, they love it, because if you're not in sales, I mean, reality is you're going to have to be in sales. And I think we're all in sales anyways, but where they're growing up with words like recruiting and sales and entrepreneurship and marketing, and they're growing up with these words like if they're normal, I just think that it's going to be so much easier for them to accomplish a lot of things that maybe were more difficult for us growing up. Like if you go to school and you can't make friends, it's probably because you're not that good of a recruiter, right? And now if you're a good recruiter, I mean, you know that you're gonna have a lot of friends. So I think it's a different perspective, but coming from someone who grew up in my parents' business, I would not have it any other way. I would not have it any other way.
I love it. I love it. How about you, Spring?
You know, I've seen a lot of things in my kids. Like last year, my daughter had an assignment where they said, you know, pick the person who influences you, like who's your role model. And, you know, everybody was doing clippings of like singers and this and that. And they were like, pick up your favorite quote from that person. And my daughter's teacher called me and she said, hi, Mrs. Eatman, you know, sorry about that, but I really wanted to ask you, I need a quote from you because all the other students pick celebrities, but your daughter chose you as her the person that she looks up to the most. And I need a quote for you. You know, we're looking for different quotes to help inspire them through the testing and things like that. And it just really like took me aback, you know, and I was just like, wow, this is such a cool thing that my daughter looks up to me and not Beyonce or somebody else, you know?
Yeah.
So I've seen that. I've seen my kids become more goal oriented based off of, you know, learning sales and how important it is. Like Wendy was just saying, you know, pretty much everything that they ever ask for, it's like they have to sell it to us. Why do they want it?
Yeah.
You know, how does it benefit them? All these different things. So I've seen my kids become very good at negotiation.
Yes. Yes.
You know, I've seen their kind of moral grounding be influenced by entrepreneurship and business ownership. You know, my daughter, she wants to be a cardiovascular surgeon. And, you know, she always says, I want to be a cardiovascular surgeon and an owner of the PHP agency.
Oh, nice.
Both. So I love that it's like, I feel like them growing up in this environment, there's no limits. The other thing is I've noticed that their standards are a lot higher. My middle daughter, you know, we live a great life. You know, we have a beautiful home. You know, our house is over 4,000 square feet. My, you know, we have a nice cars. You know, my husband drives an M4. I drive a Porsche Cayenne. We have a Jeep, you know, so we're not like, you know, living a terrible life by any means. And my middle daughter, she tells me, Mommy, when are we going to live like the rich people? And I said, okay. She's like, when are we going to get a bigger house? When can we drive nice cars like the rich people? And I'm like, all right, you know what? I'm not even going to lower your standards and say like,
I love it.
You know, I'm like, I'm just going to tell you, you know what? We'll work harder and we'll get there.
Yeah.
I love it.
And the other thing is like traveling, things like that. Like I didn't get a chance to grow up doing that kind of stuff. And just seeing the exposure of certain things like, you know, my kids, you know, for me growing up, a vacation was like going to Vegas or something like that.
Yeah.
My kids are asking me like every 3 to 6 months, hey, where are we going to Jamaica? Are we going to Mexico?
Yeah.
Where are we going? You know, it's like they just expect that. So I think that kind of stuff has been really influential in the lifestyle of my children, being exposed to entrepreneurship and being exposed to the lifestyle that we live. It's been, I think it's been really beneficial for them. And I'm just grateful because I didn't get a chance to get that. I'm grateful that I'm able to give that to them.
And I love it because I think our kids are also exposed to people like Kobe Bryant or President Bush, or you look at Magic Johnson and all these major people that have been influencers, people that have done amazing things. And so like my kids, both of your kids also, I think have a picture with Kobe Bryant. And when we
with Kobe.
what happened with Kobe, everyone was like, oh, but I met him, you know? And so they will be able to have those pictures in their offices or whatever, because that's part of history. And we're exposing them to so many great things. So I'm going to ask 3 questions and you tell me what's your favorite, okay? Okay, so favorite online clothing store?
I'll give you that one easy. Shein.com.
Spell it.
I'm actually SHEIN.com. The shirt I'm actually wearing is by Shein. I love that website. Yes.
Yeah. Shein is awesome. I also love ASOS.
Spell it.
ASOS.
ASOS. Okay. All right. Next question. Ready? Instagram or Facebook?
Instagram.
Instagram.
Instagram. I know. Oh, Pastor Dudley was saying, you know what? Do you know who's currently getting on Facebook? Is the baby boomers. And you know who's making an exit from Facebook is millennials. I love it. And both of
Yep.
them on Instagram. Okay. So, and the last question, favorite book you've ever read?
Hmm.
Oh, Outwitting the Devil.
Oh, nice.
It's a good one. It's a really good one.
I will say.
So I would have to say I'm like torn. I have like 3 books that I'm like trying to choose from right now in my head. But I would have to say probably the one that's been most influential for me has been The Obstacle is the Way by Ryan Holiday. That book has helped me through so many times. Like, I mean, even a time like this where we're in a period of like, you know, craziness, it's just reminding yourself that when you're facing obstacles, like that's when you're not supposed to retreat. You're supposed to keep going head forward, you know? So yeah, probably that would be the one.
I love it. I love it. Awesome. Thank you so much for being on our Zoom. As a matter of fact, Ryan Holiday has a YouTube channel and he's talking about the Stoic mindset. I think we read this book a few months ago about Marcus Aurelius and how Stoicism was. And his channel, Ryan Holiday's channel, is so amazing. 2 days ago, Rodolfo Vargas, one of our top councils, had posted. And I went into the channel and there's just so much content. He's really good. And Outwitting the Devil, it's like, hey, your calendar is empty. Guess what? The devil's sitting there to distract you.
100%.
Thank you. Thank you for being on our Zoom. I really appreciate both of you are sharp rock stars. And I know you have tons of appointments. You're doing Zoom from like 7 a.m. till midnight nonstop and helping families, building new leaders, teaching new generation how this business is done, where they can come in, learn how we do the business, and within less than a year become 6-figure income earner in the company without even having a degree. So with that being said, I will share this Zoom on our social media. Make sure you guys follow them on Instagram. How can they find you on Instagram, Wendy?
Mine is Boss Babe Wendy.
Awesome. And Spring?
Spring Eatsman, EATMON.
Awesome. Awesome. So thank you very much. And for those of you out there, if you like what you heard and you're interested to find out how you can also be a rock star, send us a message. We will get in touch with you and we will teach you how, just like these two beautiful millennials are making double 6-figure in this business, will make you become the 1% in the whole entire United States. So that being said, have a great day, guys. Bye.
Bye. Thank you.
Bye. Thank you, Paulette.
You got it. Bye. All right.